Tournament co-hosts New Zealand were knocked out of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Tournament co-hosts New Zealand were knocked out of the FIFA Women's World Cup as Switzerland got the draw they needed to advance as Group A winners. New Zealand began the day in second position in the group, but Norway moved above them thanks to a convincing 6-0 victory over the Philippines. Jacqueline Hand hit the post for New Zealand, but they could not get the win they needed to stay in the competition. They become the first host nation to fail to make it past the group phase. Liverpool 4-0 Leicester. Jurgen Klopp's side produce a dominant display to thrash the Foxes in a pre-season clash in Singapore. Liverpool 4-0 Leicester. Nunez, Clark, Hota and Doak score as Reds youngsters impress manager Jurgen Klopp. Thanks for joining us for this pre-season friendly, as Liverpool ramp up their pre-season preparations. Jurgen Klopp's side face Bayern Munich and Darmstadt 98 in their next two matches. Atletico Madrid 2-1 mancity. City fall in second half. Memphis Depay and Yannick Carrasco run riot. His starting 11 did fine and kept it at 0-0, but it was Atletico's second string who got the better of City's substitutes, with Memphis Depay and Yannick Carrasco running wild. Ruben Dias got one at the end, but City did not look like themselves in the second half, and Pep Guardiola has lots to work on ahead of the Community Shield match against Arsenal. Real Madrid, players who declared themselves, default, to wear white. The novel between Mabappe and PSG is in a new chapter, so we remember other cases of players who forced his signing with the merengues. The novel between striker Kylian Mbappé, Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid is going through a new chapter in the current transfer market, after the Frenchman informed the club of his desire not to renew the current contract, which ends in June 2024, and in response he has been removed from the pre-season tour of Asia, as well as threatened to go to the stands during the coming season if his intentions remain. The Mets trade a star and embrace the future. Early Friday morning, the Mets shipped the team's closer, David Robertson, to the Miami Marlins for two teenage prospects. That deal signaled that the front office had lost hope, and the next one confirmed it. On Saturday, the team agreed to trade Max Scherzer, a starter destined for the Hall of Fame, to the Texas Rangers for Luis Angel Acuna, the brother of Atlanta's superstar outfielder, Ronald Acuna Jr. Katie Ledecky passes Michael Phelps for most individual golds at World Championships. The 26-year-old American won the 800-meter freestyle on Saturday at the World Championships to become the first swimmer to win 6 golds in the same event at Worlds. It was also her 16th individual world title, breaking a tie with Michael Phelps for the most golds at Worlds. 6-fight losing streak. Bobby Green submits Tony Ferguson at UFC 291. Bobby Green has submitted Tony Ferguson with an arm triangle at UFC 291 on July 29. Green locked in the submission in the dying seconds of the third and final round, rendering the UFC veteran unconscious. This loss marks the 6th straight defeat for Ferguson, and the 4th in a row by finish. Sony Michel retires. Rams running back Sony Michel is retiring, head coach Sean McVay announced after Saturday's training camp practice. McVay said he and Michel had a conversation Saturday morning, during which Michel informed him of his decision. UFC 291 results. Alex Pereira defeats Jan Blachowicz, calls for vacant light heavyweight title. Alex Pereira. Former UFC middleweight champion Pereira overcame early trouble against Jan Blachowicz at UFC 291 on Saturday in Salt Lake City to secure himself a spot near the top of a second UFC division. Mets turn to Justin Verlander in finale versus Nationals. Verlander is scheduled to start for the stripped-down Mets when they vie for a series win against the visiting Washington Nationals in the finale of the 4-game set. BMF Justin Gaethje. Conor McGregor challenge exciting, but I'm not going to fight someone on steroids. Justin Gaethje doesn't hold the lightweight title, but he's in an unusual position where he may hold a lot more cards than most top contenders. Saw X trailer reveals Jigsaw and Amanda's horrifying returns. Saw X has dropped its first trailer, and it is a very queasy watch. As previously teased, the next outing in the Saw franchise sees the return of Tobin Bell's John Kramer aka Jigsaw. Ukraine war. Putin says Russia does not reject peace talks. Speaking after meeting African leaders in St. Petersburg, he said African and Chinese initiatives could serve as a basis for finding peace. But Mr. Putin also said there could be no ceasefire while the Ukrainian army was on the offensive.